Williams talking about that comeback against Maryland in 2002.
So 0-1 team, as you mentioned, was pretty decent. What was you guys' level of confidence heading into the tournament that year?
It was high.
Yeah,
it was high. It was like, oh, we're about to win. Like, we're going in to do only one thing, to win it. Like, but that's every team, though. I feel like even if you don't, but I felt like that year there were a few teams when we kicked it into a different gear that we didn't feel like we could beat. Like Maryland was our biggest rival that year.
Yeah, we getting into Maryland. We're gonna get there
because we played them 4 times. So
yeah,
and there was a lot that went into Maryland too, like Steve Blake and Juan and Chris Wilcox and Lonnie Baxter and all these guys. But like they were probably one of the only few teams that, and we even felt different about them because when we started really playing D, like we started like scattering around and playing passing lanes, like teams couldn't really run their sets. So we felt really confident that year going into the tournament. Plus the way we kicked the tournament off, like we just came in beating people's head in. Like it was like, and I don't know, for some reason, those first 4 games, like I was hot. I don't know what the hell was going on. Like I felt good that whole year, but like, I don't know if you felt this during a run here. Like it didn't matter like what I felt like I put up. Like I felt like the ball was going in. Nobody could tell me the ball wasn't going in.
You just
until
had to
we got
shoot
to the
it.
Final Four.
Yeah.
Then the ball wasn't going
in. All right. So Final Four heading into March, one of the best March comebacks of all time. Down 22 against Maryland in the first half. Let's go through that game. What the hell happened? Why were y'all down 22? And how do y'all come back and end up winning by double figures?
Well, look, it's no, CC, Chris Collins, used to always fuck around with me because he would be like, man, J-Dub, you had a quadruple double tonight. You had 15 turnovers, right? Like, it was great. My game, like either I was on or I was really off.
Yeah.
And I'm obviously like look our energy level, but I was just really bad, man. I was bad in the first half of that game. But it was always interesting, man. Like it was that psychological thing with Maryland. Like, if we're down 24, if we're playing Arizona in that Final Four and we're down 20, like I don't know if we have the confidence that we can come back and win. Like I'm sure we would have tried, we would have felt like we did, but against Maryland, we were down 10 with a minute left to go earlier that year.
Yep.
And I got hot and we came back and we won, right? Then they come back and they beat us on our senior night at home in Cameron. And then we're down double digits again in the ACC championship. Then we come back and we win that game too. So, when you win 2 out of 3 games where you've been down double digits, you come back and win. Like, I remember Shane said it during the huddle, during the halftime. He's like, yo, if we kick into another gear, they can't rock with us. They can't play with us. So we just came out in that second half just feeling different, man. And when we kicked into that different gear, like they couldn't run their sets again. And we just felt like we psychologically had an advantage on them because we had done it before. And all it took was a small run for them to recognize like it's about to happen again. And when you got that crutch, man, like we just ran with it.
Yeah. So during that game, as you guys are coming back, you get down to 11 at half. Going into half, did you feel like, yeah, they feel us and they know, like, because I don't know, it's hard to explain if you haven't been in games like that where, like, especially big comebacks, you can feel that the other team feels like, we're probably not gonna win. Even though they're still winning, they know what's coming. Did you feel like they knew that going into the second half?
I mean, I'm never going to say that Maryland knew that they were going to lose. Like Steve Blake I hated playing against that dude.
Yeah.
Like, and I love him because Steve Blake and I roomed together at 5-star camps in USA basketball. It just, like, let's go through it. Like, Steve Blake or Chris Duhon, who you taking?
Duhon.
Myself or Juan Dixon, who you taking?
You.
Shane Battier or Terrence Morris, who you taking?
Shane.
Lonnie Baxter or Carlos Boozer? Who you taking? All right. Okay.
Or yes,
Yeah,
maybe a
all right.
wash. Lonnie was a monster for y'all that don't know Lonnie. Lonnie was
a monster. I'm with you on that. Lonnie was a monster. I'm still taking Booze. Mike Dunleavy or Chris Wilcox?
Dunleavy.
So, like, at the end of the day, they were a good team, but we didn't feel like we were a lesser team than them.
Right.
But we felt like we were more talented than them.
Mm-hmm.
So for us at times, it felt like when we became a little bit fractured and when guys tried to do too much, or if I just turned the ball over a ton, our talent was better, but we just weren't collectively as a team. But if we collided both of those things together, like our talent and our team discipline, we felt like they weren't better than us.
Yeah.
Right. Like they had to have the perfect game, it felt like, to beat us. Right. Whereas we felt like we had a little bit more margin for error, which we proved out. And so I think during that time, like when we started to make that run, it was like, yeah, let's go. Like, this is who we are. We know we're this team.
Yeah.
We just got to play the next 20 minutes at this level.
Yeah.
And if we do, we don't think they can beat us.
What were the timeouts like in the first half? What was
I mean, I know you said we can curse, but I ain't trying to go back to be real with me. I don't remember a lot of them, but like there's always they're just, you get there and it's, first off, like playing in the dome was different for me. Like it's, that feeling, man, like when it was loud, like I couldn't hear myself think. Like, you're trying to use hand signals for plays and stuff. It just took a certain level of acclimating to that because we didn't play. The only other dome that I ever played at in my life was at Syracuse, where I lost my freshman year, to Florida. So it was just different. Like and they had came out hot, man. Like they had came out making shots. Meanwhile, my ass is going up and I go up for my first shot and I'm like, yo, where is the rim?
Yeah,
oh my God.
Yeah.
Like I'm just seeing Stan. I'm like,
yeah, like
just like a dart. So like it just felt different. And K was typically, I mean, he's always intense, but I think during that first half, he was just trying to get us to calm down, like in his own Coach K way.
Yeah.
Right. Which is still somewhat intense.
Yeah. I mean, do you feel like he kind of had that same feeling that you were talking about? Like, look, if we just play, we'll be fine. If we play like we should.
I'll tell you, I mean, like that Maryland game, the first game that we played against him at Colt Fieldhouse, when we were down, like I stole the ball, like I made a layup, I stole the ball, I made it 3. We came in the huddle, it's like, we're going to win this damn game. We're going to win this fucking game. And I think from that moment, it was just like, he always gets you, this, like, there were certain things in my life that like I still try to harness his energy for, because I felt like there was nothing I could not accomplish when we were behind him. Like he made me believe in things that I would never believe in myself. Like Kyrie just talked about this the other day. He was like, in his post-game presser, he was saying, I believe in something bigger than myself. Like that sticks with you, man. That's 90% of the battle, believing that you actually can do something. And he was always great at getting us to that point when we didn't believe in ourselves.
Yeah.
Before we continue that interview, I just have to let you guys know that it is that time of year again. We have waited 2 years for this moment, and it is finally here. March's biggest tournament is back. Gonzaga's getting ready to run the table. Slippers are being fit as we speak. And our partners over at DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, are putting our listeners at the center of the action. How? If you bet $4 on an underdog in a select game this week and that underdog wins, you win $256. That's right, $256. Here's how it works. You download the app now. You use the promo code FIELD68 when you sign up. Scroll through the list of select underdogs, bet $4 on one of them to win, and cash $256 when they do. There is no better way for you to put your college hoops knowledge to the test and then to put your money where your mouth is with DraftKings Sportsbook. It's safe, it's secure, it's reliable. You can deposit and withdraw your funds at your convenience. I know this because I use them. So remember, the code is FIELD68. That's FIELD68 to turn $4 into $256. For a limited time only, must be 21 years or older. Restrictions apply. Go to DraftKings.com for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I feel that for sure because I remember times coming to the bench and I'm like, man, this game's rough. And he's like, we're gonna win. And I'm like, okay, yeah, we're winning then, I guess. Like, I don't know how, but it's not looking like we are. But he said we are, so I guess we winning then. Yeah, he said that. Sure enough, sure enough, we go out and find some way to win the game. Like, I don't know what it was. I don't know if he had some kind of something, but yeah, he would say something and he'd be like, okay, yeah.
Whatever juju that was, I wanted some of that.
Yeah, for sure. So win a national championship. Were you player of the year that year?
I snuck in one, like the National Association of Basketball Coaches, but Shane got every other one.
Okay. So, first team All-American, grab a player of the year award, national championship.
I'm out.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, what? Yeah, how did you come back after that? You're better than me because I'd have changed my phone number. Y'all wouldn't have been.
Well, I try to give you a little bit of context, right? So I mean, that's only 2 years removed from this whole mass exodus, man. Like, so I'll tell you this moment that it got me. I got like, and I didn't know how to backpedal it. But I've never told a story before. So like, we win a chip when we come back to Durham, and we're wild.
Oh yeah. No,
you already know what's happening.
No class, no nothing.
Nothing. I'm wilding out. I mean, I'm drunk every day. Like, yeah, what we doing today? It did not matter. I did not care. I'm over at Carolina on Franklin Street. Like, what? Come here. What's up? You good? We got a chip. So we come back and we have our celebration, right? So, we're inside Cameron. Cameron's packed. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. And, K's up there. It's like, how Cameron when it's wild, right? The whole building moving. Shane gets up there. He says his words. Nate gets up there. He says his because, like, they're about to go off into the sunset. Seniors, champions. Then they're like, my chant I had back then was, Jay will rock you, rock you. Like, I was like, so they started this chant, right? I wasn't expecting to get up there and say nothing. I don't know what I'm going to say. So I get up there and I'm like, yeah, I told you we were going to do it. And they're like, one more year. And in my mind, I'm like, what did I say? I'm coming back next year.
Oh, like, man, they got you.
What did I? And I said it. I remember I got up. I was like, Mom, I don't know why I was I said it. And but like, once again, man, like I was insecure, right? Like I didn't know, like I'm getting calls from people. Like, I get a couple calls from like, a 202 number is like MJ asking me about different things happening because he was kind of a player with the Wizards and what they were doing. And I started talking to Coach K about it, and I didn't feel like I led that team, right? But like, to be real with you, man, like I should have left. Like I should have been a top pick in the draft, but I didn't, maturity-wise, feel like I was ready. Now, I mean, you tell me how my life worked out. I mean, I graduated from school in 3 years. I had my accident. I don't know if 1 year really makes that much of a difference maturity-wise. I think I'm curious how my career would have been if I did get drafted number 1 overall that year to DC, and I start my career off with Michael Jordan. Like what that tutelage would have meant to me, as opposed to, and I love him, he's my boy, Jalen Rose, right? Like Jalen Rose is my bet in Chicago, Michael Jordan would have been my vet in DC.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah, that's
right?
not. Yeah. That's no shade
slight.
at Jalen. That's no just. Yeah. That's no shade at Jalen Rose. That's Michael Jordan. Like,
it's
you can't have.
Jordan.
You can't have a better.
It's different, but we had already kind of put together this plan. Like, hey, I can graduate if I overload my courses.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted a team to be mine, and I kind of fed into like, maybe if I have a year to pay my own bills to a degree, like live off campus, maybe try to be more of like a man and like, this is my team moving forward. I decided to go that direction. It was still, it was a great experience. Like my junior year was a great year. We didn't win it. But it was my team, and, Dunleavy, myself and Booze, like it was our squad. It was just different, man. It was different. So, but I still, I wouldn't change things because my life worked out the way it was supposed to work out.
Yeah. What was your mindset, or what was it that you going into that year? I know I'm coming back. I know I'm going to graduate. This is going to be my last year. What is it that you were trying to accomplish going into that year?
I wanted to win every damn thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to win. I felt, I told you, like, I was never that kid that was like the guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there was always like, who is the guy? Who can I measure myself against? So it was like, I got one national player of the year. Fuck, I want to win every national player of the year.
Mm-hmm.
You start making these narratives up. I'm like, the last time Duke won back-to-back championships, they won it in Minneapolis and then Indianapolis, right? And I was like, we just won our last one in Minneapolis, and the next championship is in Indianapolis. Like, we're about to do this again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to do it again. But I wanted this one to be a team that myself and Dunleavy and Booze led. Like, we led. We were the Shane Battier senior-like moment. But I tell you, if there was ever an omen that kind of set the tone for that year, it was that summer, man. Like, I was like, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm staying down here again because I was overloading my courses. And then I broke my third metacarpal in my left hand, dude. And I started freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is exactly, how it is, Dre, like agents, runners, all these people had like been around me and my family for a minute. So, and Duke had tried to do the best job to kind of wean those people off, but like, you can't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't, man. Like, it's the next.
Yeah.
And I was like, see, I told you. So I think for me, like, it was hard because now all of a sudden, like, do I lose my draft position because I'm hurt? How will that ultimately affect my earnings? I don't care what anybody says, as much as Kay tried to say, hey, like, throw yourself into what the team is doing, or you're thinking about the draft. Like, how could you not, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, how could you?
Life-changing money.
And like, it made me appreciate Bat even more because, Bat's draft status really skyrocketed his senior year, but like to manage all that, like people coming at you, your draft status, are you doing what's in the best interest for the team? I also, and Dew and I talked about this, is kind of like weird. I'm like, me coming back another year, like, does that hold Dew back from Dew being the dude?
Right.
Does it hold other people back from them, like, grabbing the torch and taking the mantle? I know how everybody else felt about it too. So it was kind of like a turbulent, weird year in general. Like, we were still hooping, we were still that team, but there's just a lot of factors, man, going like, Booze is getting, he was going to get drafted. That was his last year. Dunleavy was hooping like he was going to be a top 5 pick. Like, there are a lot of things that came into that year.
Yeah, for sure. Where would you put, this is going to be a tough question. You might get some text about this one. Where are you putting 2001 on the all-time Duke list?
I think we're top 3. I think, a 91-92 team, just because of the accolades that they got.
Yeah.
Back to back. G Hill, Late, Bobby.
Yeah, that squad was just stacked.
Super talented.
Yeah.
And that 99 team, man, loaded.
Yeah.
Avery, Elton Brand, Corey Maggette, Trajan, Sewell, Bat, a kid named Mike Chappelle, I think.
Yeah. They're about 3 points away from being just one of the best teams ever, period.
Ever. And I was like, I was at that game. I mean, it was like one of those games, right, where like UConn wasn't as talented as Duke was, right? Just team wise, they were a little bit more. I was Khalid Amin,
Rip.
Yep, Jake Bosco, all this stuff. You know, like, yeah, that's right. Rip was on that team. Damn, legendary Rip.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but I don't know, man. Like think about like time wise. I mean, like Bat went 4 the year before. Dunleavy went 3. Booz turned out to be a perennial all-star. Booz probably got, paid the most out of anybody. Done. Dude played in the league for a long time. That's a pretty good starting 5.
Yeah, absolutely.